seek annual notice having been forwarded to the New Jersey Herald and the New Jersey Sunday Herald and posted on the bulletin board maintained in the municipal building for public announcements. Would you please rise and join us in a salute to the flag as soon as I put a flag up? There we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. We've already dispensed with the swearing in of new members. That was done before the meeting. So would the secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Bongiovanni. Mr. Dellarina.
Here.
Mr. Duncan.
Here.
Mr. Gaffney. Mrs. Crock.
Here.
Mr. Ray.
Here.
Mr. Rossi.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Tappan. Mr. Taylor. Councilman Schindler.
Here.
Mayor Francis.
Here.
Mr. Gilbert.
Here. Okay, we do have a quorum. We will seat alternates as appropriate. Which alternates do we need? One is not here.
Right, so Mr. Dellarina.
Here.
Dellarina, Smith, and do we need a third?
Without having any D variant, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay, in that case, let's move on to the minutes. Minutes of February 1st, 2022 were distributed electronically. I did send to our secretary some amendments to that. Are there any other amendments to the minutes of February 1st, 2022?
One comment. I'd ask that the minutes be listened to, the tape be listened to, and more detail put into the Psalm Gem, the 13-point pleasant. There's many comments missing from there from both Alan and myself, and I'd like them to be included in the context of the meeting minutes.
Okay, did you compare the minutes, just so I know as far as what to add in, did you compare the minutes from the prior meeting?
No, not as closely as these, but there wasn't one comment I made on these minutes, so I think they need to be listened to again, Nicole.
Okay.
Why don't we hold the minutes then until she has an opportunity to go back and edit them if she feels it's appropriate and present it at the next meeting.
That's what I was going to suggest. So we'll put the minutes of the February 1st, 2022 meeting off until the next meeting.
Bill, would you double check that with Nicole, because they don't have to be verbatim. They have to accurately reflect what happened, correct?
Right.
Yeah, it's not a transcript. It is not a transcript.
And
that's
I
right.
didn't repeat a lot of the commentary, a lot of the testimony on the second meeting was pretty exact of what was already documented in the meeting, in the minutes from the first meeting. That's why I was questioning if there was a comparison, because I didn't want to be repetitive.
But being it's two live meetings, they should be reflective of each individual meeting.
But not verbatim. So Bill, would you work with Nicole and make sure they're accurate?
It should have the points of discussion.
Right.
There's a lot of moments where it says a discussion ensued, but we can absolutely go back over them. But
Thank
I
you.
can't put in every comment. It's just.
No, I don't expect you to, but I don't have a single one in there.
Okay. So we will dispense of the minutes until the next meeting. New applications, Gary and Susan Solander, block 30801, lots 65, 63, and 64, 45 and 49 Northwestern Way. The applicants would like to adjust the lot line and there are variances included. Are the Solanders here? Or
Yes,
some-
can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Who is
Okay,
this?
this is Gary Solander.
Okay. Uh, are you going to be the only one testifying, sir?
I believe so. My wife is in Arizona. She is on the meeting. I'm not sure if she can speak. There's the 2-hour time delay.
I'm
Oh.
on, but my husband should be able to say everything, but I am here.
Okay, Mr. Solander,
okay,
you
good.
want to just raise your right hand, please, and let our attorney swear you in.
Certainly.
Mr. Solander, do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And you are a property owner of this property that's before the board?
I'm the owner of 45 Northwestern Way. 49 Northwestern Way is owned by my son-in-law.
Okay.
And
your
he's
son-in-law is-
consented. He has
Oh.
consented to the application.
And what is his name?
Brian Harms, last name Harms.
Brian?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Solander. Tell us what you need to tell us.
Well, if I can give you the short history, 2 years before I purchased 45 Northwestern Way in 1985, a septic system contractor called Texagon applied to the town of Hopatcong to install a new septic system at my house, 45 Northwestern Way. At the time, it was owned by Debbie Peters. That application was sent to the town of Hopatcong with a plot plan showing 45 Northwestern Way to have 120 feet of road frontage on Northwestern Way. And it's never had 120 feet of road frontage. It's always had 80 feet of road frontage. This, however, plot plan with the location of the proposed new septic was approved by the town. And what happened is it then happened that the septic system installed by Texagon has half of my distribution field on the property that is now adjacent my house. So half of it is off of my land. And by moving this property line approximately 16 feet, we would then at least have our septic system on our land and our neighbor's septic system on their land. So we're trying to fix something that happened 2 years before I bought this house.
Right. Okay, what comments, questions does the board have?
Bill, can we mitigate this with an easement?
You know, I just think it would be better to have a lot line adjustment. With an easement, there could be problems, marketability for the properties, and, you know, you end up with half a septic on the other lot. So, you know, the septic's a bit older. So how was this discovered? I'm just wondering, how did you find this out?
You know, I somehow stumbled on this information a number of years ago when I was just looking to verify the location of my septic, and I found the plot plan submitted by Texagon on the internet. Probably found it 3-4 years ago, and we've been scratching our head over how to solve this. We had approached the owner of the adjacent property, but at the time it was owned by another party. He didn't seem interested in helping in any way, shape, or form. But now that that property adjoining mine is owned by my son-in-law, who, by the way, is renovating the property and fixing it up nicely, he sees no issues whatsoever in sharing or allowing us to take 16 feet of that side yard because it's basically a bit of a no man's land, kind of a treed, unimproved area between the two homes. And I think I do agree that the cleanest and most permanent resolution to the problem would be for me to simply own the land on which my septic is located.
Does each
Mr.
property,
Andrzejczyk, did you, or Mr. Solander, did you see the technical review from Mont McDonald?
I'm not sure that I've seen that.
Maybe
Maybe,
it indicates three things. One, the existing lots 63 and 64 should be merged as part of this subject application.
okay,
Any
Which would-
approval must be conditioned upon the applicant providing meets and bounds descriptions for the proposed lots. And any approval of the application must be conditioned upon a monument being provided at the new lot line.
yes, I do believe that in particular, my wife has seen that document. And we would, of course, have the surveyor, Carriega, we would have him indeed put in a monument and provide the new meets and bounds for the consolidated adjoining lots, as well as the revised lot description for 45 Northwestern Way.
Okay. Are there any other comments or questions from the board?
Mr. Sealander, are these on public water or are there wells on each of the lots?
Each property has a well.
I didn't see the well shown. Maybe I missed it.
You know, I'm sorry. I think I stand corrected. I do stand corrected. The adjoining, I'm on a well. 45 Northwestern Way is on a well. And the adjoining property does have city water. I know it has a meter. It has a meter for the city water. I stand corrected, sir.
Okay. Then we should show the well on the map on your property.
There
It is on there, Bill.
well
Did I
shown.
miss it? I apologize if I missed it. Okay.
Excuse me, this is
And then-
Susan Solander. May I ask a question?
You have to be sworn in by our attorney first.
Okay,
Please raise your right
Raise
hand. Do you
your
swear
right
the
hand.
testimony will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Okay.
Can you just describe what's involved in getting the other property, the two lots combined into one?
Well, you can do that at the same time that you're doing the subdivision deeds. So that you can handle that at the same time, okay? One thing to be mindful of, if there's a mortgage on your son-in-law's property, that you need to get a release of that mortgage.
There's no mortgage.
Okay, good. That makes it much easier.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
So lot 63 and 64 are one and the same lot, like it's just, what goes on there? I'm just confused. You got 65, which is the lots that's being enlarged. Then I have 63 and 64, but what is the boundary of 64? That's all in that one lot line there?
There was a 40-foot wide lot owned by a third party in between the 45 Northwestern Way property and the 49 Northwestern Way property. So that was a separate lot. It was owned by a woman, and the previous owner of 49 Northwestern Way purchased that lot in between our two properties, that 40 feet by 80 feet. I know it was sold for $4,000. I believe it could have been 6-8 years ago.
It was in '89 when his septic failed.
Oh, that
Well,
long ago. Okay, thank you, Sue.
Yeah, we'll check the record. The tax assessor may have combined those as a single line item, if it's that long ago.
I believe they did.
I believe
If
so,
that's
yeah.
the case, then we won't have to, it's already done, so.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments from the board or the board's professionals?
No questions.
Okay, seeing none, I will open it to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application at all? Anybody at all from the public? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in the reactions, raise your hand. We'll wait for a moment as Danielle looks to see if anybody has raised their hand.
I don't see anybody, Alan.
Nor do I. Okay, I will bring it back to the board in that case. What is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to pass it with the stipulations by Mott McDonald.
Okay, Mr. Duncan has made a
Second.
motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That was
Rich
Councilman
Schindler.
Schindler.
Mr. Dellarina,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert. Oh, yeah. Did I get you?
Yes. Okay. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Solander, you have our approval. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
We're very grateful for the town's help with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Okay, our pleasure.
Next, Teresa Pesky, block 31603, lot 22.02, 496 River Styx Road. The applicant would like to construct a new single-family dwelling on a vacant lot. There are variances being requested.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I have to step down. I own the property next door to the applicant.
Okay, Mr. Ray will recuse himself and we will bring in another alternate. Okay. Is Teresa Pesky here tonight? Or somebody representing Ms. Pesky?
Oh, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
I can hear you.
She's having trouble logging in right now. I'm the real estate person that is representing both sides. She should be on in a minute. If not, I do have the required documents, I believe so.
Okay, would you prefer that we hold this application and we go on to the next one and then come back to hers?
Yeah, let's wait a couple minutes and see.
Okay, then what we'll do is we will move on to the third application, Andrei Andrechuk, and we will come back to Ms. Pesky when we're done. So
Thank you.
Andrei Andrechuk, block 40212, lot 17, 7 Rutgers Way. The applicant is seeking an extension of previously memorialized resolution granting approval to build a single-family home on a vacant lot. Is Mr. Andrechuk here or somebody representing him?
Mr. Chairman, I have to recuse myself from this application also. I own a property within 200 feet.
Okay, then we will continue to have the other alternate here. Okay, is Mr. Andrechuk here? Mr. Andrechuk? No,
boy.
nobody represent, Mr. Andrechuk, I
Yeah.
see you, but I don't hear you. I don't hear you and you don't look like you're muted. Again, I do see you and you muted and then unmuted, but I still don't hear anything that you're saying. Nope. No. Are you on a phone, sir, or a computer? You might want to try logging off and logging back on. Okay, Andrechuk.
Andre, if you can hear me, log back out, come back in, and when it asks you to connect with audio and video, say yes.
Okay, let's try again. Nope. I saw Andre a moment ago.
He might have logged back out, Alan. I'm gonna look for him to come back
He
in.
might have.
I love technology.
That's great stuff.
He probably just didn't give permission in the beginning when it says join with audio,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
because his picture was clear.
Yes, it was. Still nothing,
He's
Danielle?
coming back in. Hold on. Andre, unmute yourself. Well, you're here. We see you. Unmute yourself.
Okay,
There,
there we go.
okay,
I switched from my iPad to my phone. This should be better.
okay. So, Mr. Ondrachuk, do you want to raise your right hand and be sworn in by Mr. Haggerty, please?
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your name, sir?
Andre Andrechuk,
And you are the property owner?
I am.
And you're asking the board tonight to approve an extension of a variance approval that you had received from the Land Use Board. It was memorialized June 18th, 2019. So you'll be indicating to the board the reason for the request. Why is there delay?
I purchased this property from another builder or developer that actually went in front of the board, and he got the approvals. We had a contract subject to me modifying the structure because I felt that having a new house would kind of require having an attached garage. So dealing with the zoning officer, Bill, he was able to get the board approval on that with us. And it kind of took up time. So by the time I actually submitted all the paperwork for construction, we got to Bill O'Connor, and Bill O'Connor said that, or actually Bill Donahue said that we kind of ran out of time on our extension. So we have to go back in order to get another extension in order for my permits to be approved finally, and so we can start construction.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board?
Wasn't that a very tight site, if I remember correctly?
Go ahead, Bob.
Wasn't that a very tight structure? How did we add a garage to that?
We didn't change anything in regards to the structure size or the lot coverage or anything. The changes were done internally of the building. Everything stayed the same. The only thing as an interior layout changed.
Okay, so it doesn't change the placement of the building. It doesn't change the footprint of the building. That remains the same.
No, none of that was changed. The only thing was the interior layout was reconfigured in order to accommodate a one-car attached garage, and everything else in the structure stayed the same.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, there was a lot of concern about the rock in that area and whether or not you'll be blasting. Would you still not be blasting?
No, we actually, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, we actually performed a perk test and an exploratory excavation on site before we purchased it to make sure that the structure fits into the lot where there's no rock. There will be rock where the one garage wall is, and according to the architect and the engineer, we will be pinning the block, so there will be no blasting, no hammering, nothing done to our knowledge as of right now.
Now I'm stuck.
This was a modular house, was the original proposed home. Is this gonna be stick built now, or is it still modular?
No, it's going to be stick built.
Gonna be stick built. Okay, so we lose that whole issue of the crane that we had in the resolution. There were also a whole bunch of concerned neighbors with stuff happening around the construction site. So I guess you're all in agreement to how the resolution reads and what you must comply with pre-construction meetings and all that.
Correct.
Okay. I'm not sure, Bill, does this have to be open to the public? It's just an extension of a memorialization.
Yes, it does, but
Okay,
we should be very, very mindful. This is not a rehearing. It is not.
Right.
This is strictly to review whether there's been changes to the ordinances, changes to the neighborhood development that would have affected the board's decision in approving the application. We should not take testimony on the merits. That's already been done. This is not a rehearing, so let's be careful about that. The
okay,
indication is that there are some plan changes, but the footprint hasn't changed its interior. So if the
Okay,
public has
and-
something to say that there's been changes in the neighborhood or changes in the zoning, certainly that could be entertained.
Okay, in that case, I will open it to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in reactions, raise your hand. We'll wait for a moment as Danielle and I peruse and see. That is Donna Lindsley. Ms. Lindsley, go ahead. Please raise your
Yes.
right hand and be sworn in.
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Lindsley.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Go ahead. You're on.
Well, okay. All I want to do is I want to read a letter that I want to propose. It's not a proposal. It's just what's been going on here so you can understand about me being so upset with this whole situation.
Well,
Why don't you just tell us?
keep in mind what Mr. Haggerty said. This is not a review of the project. It's just an application to extend the memorialized resolution.
Well, the reason why I'm on is because the workers he's had on his property doing stuff has been walking all over my property. They removed trees that went over my house that I had just had my gutters cleaned, my HVAC system done. Now it's full of debris through my fence, which from my understanding, I have pictures of all this too.
Yeah, I am the camera.
Well, no, we're not.
That it
We
was
can't
his-
entertain.
No, we can't hear that. Please take that up with Bill Dunnigan.
Okay, so I should bring all this to him with the pictures?
Yes, please do.
Okay,
Okay, he's generally at the Borough Hall. And
Okay.
if you can't find him at the Borough Hall, just go into the construction office and indicate to them that you need to speak with Bill Dunnigan.
okay, because I've already had to call the police department on him.
Okay.
Well, yeah, take it all up with Bill Dunnigan, please.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and raise your hand in reactions.
I don't see anyone, Alan.
Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board.
I'll make a
What is the
motion,
pleasure
Alan.
of the board?
I'll make a motion.
Extending this for.
I just needed enough. I was actually, I don't know if this is the right time to ask, but I was going to ask if the memorialization, if this gets extended today, if it could be waived. I've never done this, but I was recommended by Nicole to bring this up to the board because we are literally just waiting for the board to approve or deny this extension, either for us to start the construction or restart the whole variance process. So I was just wondering if that could be considered when you make your decision.
Okay, Mayor Francis, you made a motion to approve
Grant the extension.
the extension for how long?
I needed just enough to get it through construction department. So we're gonna start
Why
immediately.
don't we make a year? Why don't you make it a year?
Make it a year.
Okay, is there a second?
Second it, but we should stipulate about reinforcing one of the terms was to be cognizant of the neighbors. That was one of the terms and conditions. So that should be reiterated to, the build.
No,
I think
this is strictly for the extension. This is not for anything to do with the application. And of course, our code officials can make sure.
Well, the conditions of the prior approval will continue.
John Rushke to do when he does the pre-construction meeting.
Right, well, as Bill just said, all the conditions of the prior approval will remain in effect.
My motion is the extension for 1 year.
Okay. Nicole?
I'll second that.
Mr. Dellarino,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock, Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Mr. Smith?
You're muted, Mike.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, now, Mr. Andrzejczyk has also requested a waiver of memorialization.
So
Would
moved.
anybody like? Okay, Mr.
Second.
Mayor Francis has made a motion, seconded by Mr. Schindler, to waive memorialization.
Mr.
What
Dellarino.
that means is he could go in tomorrow to get the building permits.
Thank you very much.
But we have to pass that first. Nicole?
Mr. Dellarino,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes,
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Andrzejczyk, you have our blessings. You can go in tomorrow to get the required permits if you'd like.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the board's help.
Okay, thank you very much for coming tonight. Nice seeing you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go back now to Ms. Pesky. Teresa Pesky, block 310603, lot 22.02, 496 River Styx Road. The applicant would like to construct a new single-family dwelling on a vacant lot. Variances are being requested. I see that Ms. Pesky is now here. Yes, she is. Ms.
Hey,
Pesky?
Alan, I have a question. Are there D
Yes.
variances on this?
Are there-
Are there
Pardon?
D variances?
No,
No.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, but, you want to swear her in, Bill?
yes. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Ms. Pesky?
Oh, boy.
Ms. Pesky, I don't think you heard him. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Bill, you want to try that again?
Please raise your right hand. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Pesky, do you want to address the board, please? Tell us what's going on and Before you do, have you seen the technical review from Mott McDonald?
Yes.
Okay, then go ahead and address the board if you would. Is there anybody else who's going to be testifying on your behalf or
Yes.
just you?
Actually, I like to pass on the engineer, Kevin Robine.
Okay. Kevin, do you want to raise your right hand, please, and be sworn in by Bill?
You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And your full name, sir?
It's Kevin Robine, Robine.
And you are employed by Dykstra Walker Design Group, and you are a New Jersey licensed engineer?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and you participated in preparation of these plans?
Yes.
And have you testified before this board before, sir?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then in that case, let's, is there any objection to accepting him as an expert witness?
No.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Robine.
Sure. Just want to give a rundown of what the existing site conditions that we're dealing with in kind of what we're up against in the design of the improvements on the property. The property is block 31603, lot 22.02, has frontage along River Styx Road. It's located in the R1 residential zone district, and it is currently vacant. As previously stated by the chairman, looking to construct a 4-bedroom, 2-story dwelling, associated site improvements. There's public water available as well, and as far as sanitary sewer, we're proposing a septic system on the property. There are steep slopes that currently exist on the property. They occupy the central portion of the property on the northeast side and traverse that central portion of the property to the southwest. Those slopes, as defined by ordinance, are slopes greater than 15%. However, they are less than 25%, which then would be defined as critical slopes according to the ordinance requirements. There is also some rock outcrops apparent on the property in the front portion of the property and portions of the rear of the property as well. We are requesting a variance relief from ordinance section 242-12B to permit the disturbance of 6,680 square feet of these steep slope areas where a maximum of 2,500 square feet is permitted. We've, to work with the slopes on the property and be cognizant of the concerns outlaid in the ordinance as far as disturbance to steep slopes and stability of those slopes and potential for increase in soil erosion. We've positioned the house in a manner that is generally central to those slopes so that the house and some associated retaining walls that we have shown will essentially stabilize any permanent disturbance to those steep slopes. There's always a concern during construction when you disturb steep slopes that soil erosion during rainfall events would occur. And we're mitigating the temporary disturbance of the slopes by use of sediment filter fabrics, all the requirements generally that the Upper Delaware Soil Conservation District will require as part of their soil erosion certification. Moving forward, as again, it's part of the reason why we located the house where we are. We have a unique shape or availability on the property to install a septic system. It's going to be located at the northwestern corner of the property, and on the plans submitted, you can see it's somewhat irregular in shape, and that is to fit within the confines of the septic code and the rock outcrops that are apparent on the property. The septic application and design has been submitted to the Sussex County Sussex County Health Department and has been approved in its current configuration. And so moving forward, we're kind of stuck with only one one location that's available on the property for that septic system, and there's certain setback requirements that we have to that septic system that need to be met with the proposed dwelling. And the position of the dwelling is cognizant of that, those setback requirements, as well as the bulk zoning requirements as far as the front, side, and rear yard setbacks. That's kind of driving the location of where a house could be positioned on this property. And it does indeed require relief from those from the steep slopes ordinance for disturbance of those steep slope areas in excess of 2,500 square feet. In general, the location or of these slopes kind of precludes any potential development of a single family home on this property. And the disturbance associated with the construction of a single family home, we've tried to minimize to the maximum extent possible while being aware of the other design considerations and soil conditions that exist on the site.
Okay, Mr. Robine, have you seen the letter from the Lake Hopatcong Commission?
I have, yes.
Okay, do you have any comment about that?
They bring up some valid points as far as the disturbance to steep slopes and potential impact to the Lake Hopatcong and its drainage areas. I feel that the design is supportive of their concerns, especially during construction, and the stabilization of the slopes after construction, to ensure that there's no additional sedimentation introduced into the drainage area associated with Lake Hopatcong. There were a couple other items in there as far as the they would like us to limit the amount of disturbance and reevaluate the plan. I feel that the plan as prepared does limit to the maximum extent practical the disturbance to steep slopes. There are other items in their letter, and the applicant is, I'm sure, willing to agree to make a good faith effort to meet their requirements.
Okay, and what about the letter from Mont McDonald? You've seen that also.
I've received the letter. It was dated December 9th. Is that the letter, the most recent letter?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay, yes, we did receive that letter, and prepared revised plans that were resubmitted by the applicant, and also a letter summarizing our revisions to those comments. I feel that we've adequately addressed them by providing advisory notes on the plan, as well as to ensure that some of the technical items were confirmed and noted on the plan accordingly. And we also added the soil erosion plan known as sheet, which is now sheet 2 on the plan set, to demonstrate how we're handling protection of downstream areas.
Okay. John Rushke, do you have any comment about that, or are you satisfied?
No, they did adequately address my comments.
Good. Okay. Anybody else from the board? Any comments, questions from the board? Okay, then I will open this to the public. Would anybody from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in reactions, raise your hand. We'll wait for a moment as we.
Colleen.
Colleen Lyons, you're up.
Hi, I was just going to make a comment, and it was just to say that, do I need to be sworn in just to make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And you're speaking
my name
on
is Colleen Lyons. I'm here representing the Lake Hopatcong Commission, and I just wanted to thank the applicant and their professional for addressing the commission's concerns and reviewing those, understanding that it's, space is limited on the lot and the steep slopes are there, but you're taking the precautions to limit impacts to Lake Hopatcong. And thank you to the board for bringing up our concerns.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Anybody else from the public? Would anybody else from the public like to comment or question this application? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen, and in reactions, raise your hand. Seeing none, I will bring it back to the board. What is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve it.
I'll say.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Duncan, second by Ms. Judy Crock.
With the provisions of Hatchmark McDonald.
Yeah, always.
Always.
Mr. Dellarino,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Rossi,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yeah.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Pesky, you have our permission, you have our blessings. Thank you very much, you and Mr. Rubine, for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, let's go on to the work session now. Jim Archibald, block 11109, lot 9, 214 Brown Trail. The applicant would like to address the board regarding a lot line adjustment. Is Mr. Archibald here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you don't have to be sworn because this is just a work session. This is not an application. So go ahead and address the board if you would like, sir.
Okay. Last year, we purchased a lot from the town, and it's, I guess, been merged with my property. And I would like to do a lot line adjustment, basically giving my neighbor 60-foot swath of that land. I submitted my lot layout and also a copy of the tax map of my lot 11 and the purchased lot 9 to show it's a rectangle, basically a 120 by 100 foot that was added to my existing property. And I was just hoping to basically give my neighbor that 60-foot swath that's referenced on my survey.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, how do I go about doing that?
Well, first of all, let's look at what it will do in terms of whether or not each lot then is conforming and whether lots are conforming now. Which lots are we looking at? 9 and 11?
I own 11 and 9.
Okay.
And I want to basically move half of 9 over to 8.
I see. Okay. Now, are 11 and or 9 conforming lots currently?
I believe so. I mean, I'm at, before the purchase, I was at 133 by 100. Now I'm like 233 by 100.
Well, do you have any plans to consolidate lots 9 and 11?
I believe on the current tax map, they should be already, the tax map that I had a copy of, I got prior to my purchase of the lot.
Right.
So we got a revised tax bill saying 214 is the whole area. You know, the both lots 11 and 9 are 214 Brown Trail now.
It looks like each lot would conform to the lot area and neither lot would conform to lot depth, but that doesn't change with the lot line adjustment.
Right, but does lot 9 conform, Bill? Currently,
No.
I don't think it does.
Oh,
12 square
That's
feet.
12,000 square feet.
Right. But it would after the lot line adjustment, correct?
both of them would.
Yes.
Both would be conforming.
Right.
Okay.
Square footage wise.
Yes.
And there's no plan of any construction. The reason we bought the property was so that there wouldn't be anything built there.
Right. Yeah, well, we're always cognizant of whether lot line adjustments will reduce or increase size, square footage, as well as depth and width, and whether or not lot line adjustments would bring things closer to conformance.
Look like it's bringing them both into compliance.
Yes, I think so.
Area.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're already double the other lots. Those three
Yeah.
lots are double the other ones, so you're already stepping forward.
Right.
Okay, so what has, Bill, what does he have to do?
He's going to, he's going to have a surveyor lay this out. Because we have to have something before the board and the public that shows exactly what he's going to do. He's given, his survey. It really, you have to piece these things together and kind of try to figure out, there's different lot numberings on the tax map and his survey. So he needs to get a surveyor to do this in one depiction to show both properties and where that lot line is going to fall between the two, so that when the deeds are prepared, we have something as a reference to guide us to see that, in fact, what he's proposing and what we understand he's proposing is what's shown on the paperwork.
Yeah, I was hoping to avoid the thousands of dollars that's going to cost us to do.
Yeah, John Rushkey, I don't see how we can avoid that. Do you?
No, I think you have to at least hire a surveyor. I don't think, you can't just do it based on existing maps. They have to create a map. It's not a complicated. You saw if you were here earlier in the meeting, you saw the application that was prepared by prior applicant, and just, it's a basic map. It's not like it's an elaborate map that the surveyor has to generate. This is a legal proceeding, so we need to make sure that it's properly documented.
Just has to show the meets and the bounds of the property, correct?
Yeah, that have to show what's there now and what's going to be there after he does this.
Yes.
In one product, not piecing together things.
Yes.
So you're saying I can't make a better drawing and use that? It has to be done by a professional.
Yeah.
Because that's not what I'm told.
There's minimum requirements that you have to do to meet the New Jersey's map filing laws, and so there is basic information that you need to do from a surveyor.
Gotcha.
You can't draft up a plan yourself and present it as a professional surveyor unless you are.
It's kind of disappointing because when we talked to Bill Tappan about purchasing the property, he said it would not be an issue and it would be like a $10 fee with a form that you can fill out to do the lot line adjustment. And no one else is telling me that that's what we can do. It's kind of disappointing.
I've never seen this board, or frankly any board, approve a lot line adjustment by the back of a napkin. You got to prepare minimum mapping associated with it.
Did you see the drawings I sent or not?
No,
yeah, I saw the drawings you sent, and I had to spend some time because, for instance, the lot numbering on the tax map is different. I had to try to orient these things. I tried to sort of use my imagination to figure out how these are all pieced together. You're very familiar with this, as is your neighbor. But I can tell you, member of the public looking at this is going to say, what the heck is this guy doing? And we can't operate like that.
Okay.
And, these are done such that, you can pick this map up in 20, 30 years and understand, the legal action that occurred. It's you need some basic information on this.
This is a pretty simple map to draw up. I mean, it's a rectangle, you're just cutting it in half, giving one half to one, half to the other, and just, you got to document it.
Yeah, you just have to show both
I
properties on
don't
one
see it
plat.
being a heavy lift, to do this map.
Yeah, both properties on one plat showing the current lineup and showing the lineup that you propose after the lot line adjustment is implemented, so that Mr. Rushkey and I can look at the meets and bounds, compare the deed that you prepared to the surveyor's depiction, make sure that the distances and descriptions are correct, because you're going to perfect this by deed recording. This is going to be, for a long time once you do this. This isn't something that lasts for a week or 2 weeks, so we want to get it right.
I gotcha. And, I based my drawing on the information that I had. My neighbor couldn't find his survey. So that's why I only gave you my side of the story. But you know, you're saying I can't make it myself, so I have to hire a surveyor. That's the bottom line. Is that correct?
That's the bottom line that I would advocate. That's for sure. Yeah.
Is that the general consensus? So, I mean, you know,
Well, yeah,
like one individual said, it's
you're
just,
hearing from our attorney, and we generally take the advice of our professionals.
Believe me, we try to help. We try to help everybody, but we need something we can rely on, frankly, and that the public can look
I mean,
at.
I can make a better drawing if I get my other survey from the neighbor, but, and like one gentleman said, it is just a rectangle and we're basically just splitting it in half. There's no complicated math or anything involved. You know, if you would consider a better drawing, I would appreciate it, and to go forward instead of, like I said.
Why don't you try doing that and come back for another work session? And then we'll look at it and decide.
I'd be happy to. If they can't supply me with the survey, then obviously we'll have to do that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I
Sounds
appreciate
good
it.
to me. Anybody else from the board? Okay, then that's what Mr. Archibald, we'll look forward to seeing you again for another work session.
And hopefully I'll have a heck of a lot better drawing for you to peruse.
Listen,
Okay. Good luck to
Bill,
you.
I have one comment to make. I know that Mr. Archibald is trying to be efficient here, but I think it would really be in your best interest, because you're going to have to submit new deeds to the county. I don't know that the county would be happy with a drawing. I think a fundamental basic survey. I mean, you don't need a survey of the Taj Mahal, but basically a survey that actually shows shows the property lines that we're talking about would be more accessible to the county. I think you might. And even if we did that, I think we were doing you a disservice to say you go to county and have them deeds registered. They're going to probably require some kind of a survey. I mean, I don't know you could really do it by a sketch. Am I far off the base, Bill?
Well, I go back to the public looking at this, and I struggle today myself going through what has been presented. And we're going to have to be able to rely upon the meets and bounds descriptions that are going to be prepared. And I don't think a lay person is going to be able to prepare a meets and bounds description for each property. I wouldn't do it. And I've prepared deeds for decades. But
what I'm saying is,
I wouldn't be comfortable doing it, frankly.
even if we did something, when you go to register these deeds, you're almost always going to have a survey. My experience, anyhow.
Okay,
how are you going to prepare the description for each of the two properties? Because you need a surveyor to do that.
Archibald, can't you just contact the surveyor that did the survey on your property when you bought it and have him update that? Or, I mean, he has most of the work done already.
All the work is done, really. All the work is done, except that you're changing the lot lines, which you're going to have to do anyhow.
I agree with Mike. I don't think there's any way around having a surveyor do it.
Okay, so if I have a survey come and they do our lot and my neighbor's lot, they both have to be done, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Do it on the same drawing.
On the same drawing.
You don't need two separate surveys. Do a survey.
And then what do I do next?
And
you
then
come to us and say, here's the surveys, give me permission.
You're gonna fill out an application, you know. Nicole will explain the application process, how to fill it out. You know,
Once you get that done, you contact us and we'll go from there.
Basically, you're showing existing and proposed on one drawing. And that could be your survey. That is your survey.
Signed and sealed.
Yeah.
And that protects you.
Will show the new lot line.
Yeah, and that protects you and it protects us.
Right.
Gotcha. Understood.
Okay.
Will do.
Okay, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Archibald. Nice seeing you tonight.
Take care.
Thank you very much for coming.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Bill, do you have a report for us tonight? Zoning officer report.
Yep, nothing tonight. Nope.
Is there anything for discussion? Okay, resolutions. IAT reassurance. Hearing date January 19th or January 18th, 2022. Motion is in order to approve the IAT reassurance resolution granting approval to authorize the removal and replacement of an existing barn and driveway at 28080 Lackawanna Drive, block 400005, lot 4.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution.
Second that.
Okay,
Mr. Dellarina,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Abstain.
Mayor Francis.
But that was a D variance, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Right, that's right.
Sorry about that. Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. Okay, that's all
And I
for
think I made a
resolutions.
mistake too by calling on Mr. Smith because he was not here for that.
Right. Right.
Abstain.
Okay. Correspondence. The only correspondence I've seen is from the Hopatcong Lake Commission. We already discussed that. Is there any other correspondence? Okay, escrow refunds for Santa Clara Trail, Ventura. These are for information only. Mont McDonald, should we pay the bills?
Pay the bills.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Mr. Dellarina,
Yes.
Mr. Duncan,
Yes.
Mrs. Crock,
Yes.
Mr. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Councilman Schindler,
Yes.
Mayor Francis,
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert.
Yes. At this time, I'll open the meeting to the public. Would anybody from the public like to address the board on any issue at all? If so, please go to the bottom of your screen and in reactions, raise your hand. I'll wait for a moment as Danielle and I look over the screen.
I don't see anyone, Ellen.
Nor do I. Okay, I will bring it back to the board. Is there any old business?
Any development on the renovation, the zoning? John,
Sorry, Robert, what was the question?
any more development on Lakeside Development?
Yeah, I think, discussing with the mayor, we may be going in a different direction than in compliance with the Highlands regulations. We may just do it independent with them. So that's under discussion with the mayor.
Yeah, that more bureaucratic red tape that really is a delay. And I think the Borough of Paccon is responsible for what we do. And I've asked John to start moving forward with it, to present to the land use board a product we could work on to look at establishing the area in need of redevelopment on the 607 corridor. So, when you're dealing with the state, it's sometimes a little disappointing at the speed that they work with. I'm trying to be really kind. And so now I believe it's about time we took responsibility for our planning and we'll move forward with that as per our engineer and planner, John, recommendation. So it'll be a work product of this board.
Okay.
Any
Anything
further
else?
on Hudson Maxim School?
Nope.
And last item, Nicole, since we have several new members on the board, could we update the committee, the members list, contacts and all?
Yes, I updated it. I will distribute it to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's
Is
it for me.
Any other old business? New business. I would like to welcome Michael Smith and Walt Rossi as alternates to the board. They were both.
Thank you.
Tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Welcome.
And is there any other new business? Seeing none, Ms. Crock,
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Thank you all.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Night,
Good
everybody. Take care.